Ladies and gentlemen, today we are diving back into Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and we have talked a lot about it on the channel, ranging from the little story details, overviews of the campaign, diving into the multiplayer, and don't worry, we're going to be taking an even deeper dive into the story, discussing who I think the mole is, and on top of that, diving into a character who I truly believe will be returning within Black Ops 6. But that is for a future day, and one of those is coming later this weekend, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. But what we're doing today is we are going to be having a look specifically at multiplayer and 12 new features that are coming into Black Ops 6. And these range very widely to simple gameplay mechanics, to complex gameplay mechanics, to individual items that we have never seen before in Call of Duty. One of which could very well change Call of Duty forever, specifically Warzone, oddly. You'll see what I mean once we dive into that one. But for now, let's just dive in and start out with probably the biggest of all of these. Now, you probably know of this one, and that is the new movement mechanics within Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I truly believe that what we see with Omni Movement very well could be the future of Call of Duty. One of the things that they say in the direct is once you play this, you can't go back, and from what I'm seeing, I tend to agree. This is going to speed up the gameplay of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 vastly. And if you don't know how it works, basically you can sprint in any direction. So if you're staring at a wall, you can sprint left, right, forward, backwards, running backwards. You can dive backwards, slide to the left, slide to the right, all while facing the same direction. And as I say that, I understand that that doesn't sound like a big deal, but this is going to change the gameplay vastly, adding a much larger skill gap than we have already seen in the game. This is a huge deal, and I can't wait to actually get our hands on it, play it within the beta, and that'll be coming later on, probably the end of August. Now, the other part of movement that is changing is something by the name of corner slicing. And the way that this works is as you work your way slowly up to a corner, your character will kind of turn their way around the corner with their weapon, approaching it with their weapon at an angle before their body actually does. This is something that we've seen in other first-person shooters, but is now coming into Black Ops 6. They said to us it shouldn't change what you see as an operator very much. You should still see the same amount of an enemy body coming around the corner, but it'll change the feel for you quite a little bit, and it does change based off of the speed that you're going around said corner. The next one is an overlooked one, and that is human shields. So apparently, if you sneak up behind someone, you can use a finishing move, but your other option is to take them as a human shield. And if an enemy shoots at you, they're actually shooting at that shield, and you can fire your weapon from behind that person as well. This sounds very strong, and one question that I have for this is this something that we will see moving forward to come to Warzone as well? Because that would be a very interesting mechanic to add in, but multiplayer, I believe that it is confirmed to be in there. Now, this one, I'm kind of combining a bunch of things into one, but it is Gunsmith, create a class, the way that this is going to work. So Gunsmith is going to be similar to what we have seen recently in Call of Duty, where you can have 5 attachments, but I believe with a wild card, you can bump that up to 8. Speaking of which, wildcards are returning. The way that these work is they add a special bonus to your class. So some will make it so that you can use 2 primary weapons, or you can use an extra perk, or use 3 extra attachments. Of course, I don't know what all of these do, but wildcards are very powerful and will be a part of the class. The other thing that is changing is the way that perks work. In each perk slot, 1, 2, and 3, there are different colors of perks: green, blue, and red. And if you use 3 perks in each slot of the same color, it will give you a bonus. Like when you get a kill, you get faster movement and faster healing, or when you spawn in, you're actually able to see your enemies through the wall. In other words, very powerful mechanics if you choose to use 3 of the same colored perks, which of course, that wild card, which adds an extra perk, could help with greatly. So just to be clear, this is not the pick 10 system. This is a brand new create a class system introducing wildcards, and there is still lethals, tacticals, and you can equip a melee weapon at all times. So each of your classes will have a melee weapon that you actually have to pull out if you're planning on using it. And that will be on top of your primary and secondary weapons. So you'll have a primary, secondary, and melee at all times. Another new thing, or I guess kind of returning thing, is Mastercrafts. So these are essentially blueprints that do special things and look special, and we know that these are coming because we see them as a pre-order bonus for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So assumably throughout the year, there will be bundles and ways to unlock, hopefully challenges, these various different type of Mastercraft blueprints. And generally speaking, Treyarch does a pretty cool job with these. The next thing is prestige. So there is a new, or I guess technically classic prestige system coming to Call of Duty Black Ops 6. If you don't know, the way that this works is there are 10 prestiges. Once you hit level 55 and you prestige, you go back to level 1, relocking all of your gear, equipment, perks, and everything in between. Now, your weapon levels will persist between prestiges. However, those weapons that you unlocked will now be locked and you have to level back up to 55, just like the classic prestige system. Once you get past that 10th prestige, there is a master prestige that is going to have 1,000 levels, but your things won't reset anymore. This is awesome. I'm very glad this is coming back. They also said that they're going to be doing a new selection of rewards every time you prestige. So we don't know what that is yet, but once they tell us, I'll keep you guys updated. After this, we have theater mode. Now, as of right now, what we know is theater mode is only in multiplayer. However, the one thing I haven't seen anyone talk about is Call of Duty has a big hacker problem, and in multiplayer, you will now be able to go into theater mode and be able to watch other enemies and pretty much able to tell whether or not they're hacking. This should be a very big thing to help the anti-cheat within Call of Duty. I really highly recommend them bringing this to Warzone as well, because again, this is going to help counteract hackers, which is, in my books, a very needed thing in Call of Duty. Next, we are going to move into some pieces of equipment. Now, these, I have to say, were showing off in the campaign portion of the game, but we do know that they are in there. The first of which is something known as a homing knife. Essentially, this is a throwing knife, but when they showed it to us in the campaign, it went into bullet time and it tracked your knife go across the map, and when it hit someone or got close to someone, it would actually explode. So I don't know if this is coming to multiplayer, but I could definitely see an exploding throwing knife coming into multiplayer called the homing knife. The next one I think is way bigger than anyone's giving it credit for, and that is what you are seeing here, a grappling hook. This is very clearly a grappling hook, and again, this is a part of the campaign. Now, I want to be clear, I really highly doubt a grappling hook will come into multiplayer. I think that would just be broken. However, if they do have this coded correctly into the game, what we could see is a grappling hook come in to Warzone. I think it would make a lot more sense there. And on top of that, we've actually seen Call of Duty do this before. I believe it was in Black Ops 4. One of the operators had a grappling hook. So it's been done, and we could potentially see this return. And I would love to see this in Warzone. It would be an amazing piece of loot to loot off the ground and very game-changing for Warzone on top of the already improved Omni Movement. The next one is the tranquilizer trap. Again, not sure if this one will come into multiplayer, but we saw it in campaign, and essentially what it does is it's a mine, and when an enemy goes over it, it puts them to sleep. Now, I don't know if this will work as like a stun mine if it's implemented into multiplayer, but I just wanted to point out that is another new piece of equipment that we saw within the direct. And then finally, we have the HUD. So the HUD is a new one, and basically what you need to know is you can change your HUD. If you want your mini-map in the top right corner instead of top left, you can do that. If you want it in the bottom left corner, you can do that. If you, for some reason, want it in the middle of your screen, you can also do that. You can change where your bullet counter is. You can change pretty much everything to customize it for the way that you play and what you like to see on your screen. This is a really cool little improvement that should help improve the game for everyone and just make it a little bit easier to play the way that you want to. So those are the 12 big things for multiplayer. If you enjoyed this video, you liked it, be sure to hit that like button. We could also do something like this for campaign or zombies as well if you guys enjoy this type of video. And on top of that, if I missed anything, if there's something new that you found within the direct, let me know down in the comments. But as always, if you enjoyed, hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date on everything Call of Duty, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars.